All right, all right, all right. What's going on, everybody? Let me know in the comments, as always, if you can hear me, you can see me. That way I know we are rock and rolling. Welcome to tonight's stream. A little bit impromptu here. Stone Farmer, what's going on? My name's on the big screen. You're famous, buddy. To all the 3 or 4 people that are in here watching. Ahmed, what's going on? Huz, hey man, how are you? Hey Michael, I'm guessing you guys can hear me okay? Oh, Zoomy made it, look at that, rare sight. Let me know how it is so I can continue or fix whatever is going on. You're good? All right, perfect, thank you. Well, I was just taking this thing apart, harvesting some parts. Also, Voxelab hat, how cool is that? They sent me that as a gift. Very nice of them, by the way. Yeah, let me hang it back here. So I can shill a little further, you know? Oh, you're not going to be able to see it back here. Oh, all right, I'll wear it. Why not? My man. Hey, if you had a cookie back there, then it's all good. But anyway, this is a really old custom machine. This was my, I guess, second/third machine after the Ender that I had. And most of it was either designed or printed or made in some way, shape, or form just for me so that I can print keyboards. That was the whole point. I used to print them in multiple pieces, but I wanted to print them in one piece. And this diagonally, 320 by 320, fit the boards that I was making at the time perfectly in there. So that was kind of the goal of this machine. I was trying to make this from scratch. And I had a bunch of help. This guy, Mode, I believe was his name. I can never pronounce it, but I think it's Mode, who took a ANET A8 Plus, I believe, and did a bunch of mods to it. And when I saw that, I realized that that kit for the ANET A8 Plus was worth about the same as just the extrusions somewhere else. So instead of buying things separately, I bought one of those kits and then made it into this. So a lot of design stuff was done myself, but the whole idea was the ANET A8 Plus was kind of like a really cheap Prusa clone, just larger. And that was my goal. I wanted something larger than a Prusa. So then I built this. It didn't look like this at first. It literally looked like a large Prusa. But that's when I realized that you can't actually just take a Prusa and make it bigger. It doesn't quite work the same. A lot of problems with just rigidity. So eventually, over time, this is what ended up happening. I ended up going to extrusions on the bottom, extrusions here, my own custom parts everywhere, so many printed pieces. But essentially, I haven't used it in a long time. Printers that you can buy for an extremely inexpensive price nowadays print the same, if not even better than this machine. So, I don't want to spend the energy anymore. So it's just been sitting here for a really long time. But there's a lot of design stuff that I did on here that I think, I'm really happy for and glad for, because I learned so much from building this machine, making my own custom firmware, doing all the wiring, electronics, and, just printing things not working, fixing them, redesigning, printing again. So a ton of work and effort went into building this thing. But the reason why I'm tearing this apart is one of the things, like, for example, this camera. This camera. So the second camera here, I harvested from here. It used to sit on the front right here. It used to kind of sit over the bed. And it just essentially let me, stream my Octoprint setup for in case there's, any failures, whatever you need a camera for, essentially. That's what that was for. So first thing I removed was that. And when I was removing it, I had to go into the electronics box, which is over here, this little enclosure I designed to house everything. And I realized that there was a Raspberry Pi in there. This whole thing runs off of SKR 1.3, I believe it is. And it also I integrated a Raspberry Pi into there for a built-in Octoprint setup. So then I took the Raspberry Pi out, and I have it right here, actually. So I printed this little box. I put the Pi in there. I added a 5-volt fan and a buck converter in case I want to run this from a 24-volt setup. It's all just built in, all in here, and I can run wiring right out of it. And now I can do things with this. And if you saw the video from today, I'm kind of interested in doing Klipper. So I needed a Pi. You can't buy one right now. This is a older Pi. It's a Pi 3B, so not that old, but definitely a few years old, but it'll run everything and then some, so let's see what you guys got here. Yeah, good to go, thank you. There's actually quite a delay between when I can see it and OBS over here. Maybe there's a different way, but I'm still learning how to do all this live stream stuff, so it's going to take me a little bit. Sweet hat styling. Yeah, I thought it was cool. A little Voxelab hat. Yeah. So my plan, so I'm going to strip it down, Darren, just because I don't use it, and I'm redoing the studio here, and this thing's been sitting on the couch. Literally, I have a couch here. I'm going to remove everything out of here, make this, a YouTube streaming and video studio so that I can do this in a slightly more professional manner. But yeah, I'm just going to harvest all the parts. I have a box just filled with printer parts anyway from other builds and stuff. So I'll use this for other things. But I figured, I guess while I'm taking the electronics apart and whatnot, I'm not going to be able to take the whole thing apart tonight. But as I take stuff off, I figured we could just chat and hang out and, do stuff like that. Yeah, it was all gold. I think, well, it's kind of orange. It's kind of like a pale orange because it was a Prusa at one point. I know it doesn't look like one now, but it had the rails. I actually went to rods. I actually went to carbon rods at one point. Man, this thing has been through it all. I have a ton of photos. Maybe at one point I'll do a post on the YouTube page so just you guys can see it, just as like the full retirement. I'll kind of link to the stream, I guess, for anyone that's interested in this type of thing. You got enough parts to build a French, a dogma. Dagoma. I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. But Yeah, there's a ton of parts, lots of extrusions. They're all huge. This is a really large machine. Now, 300 by 320 by 320 machines don't need to be this big anymore. This was kind of just the way I decided to make it. I actually designed this whole thing in Tinkercad, believe it or not, years ago. All of it, like extrusions, every part, all of it is there. Um, yeah, so if you set your mind to it and do a lot of bad habits, you too can make whatever you want with 3D printing, right? Sean, let's see what you wrote. If you don't mind me asking, also, I didn't fix the chat background, and it's really hard to read. I thought clear would be good, but I can't see. If you don't mind me asking, what rating would you overall give the Voxelab Aquila S2 by using Cura and using even harder to print filaments like ABS? So the S2 is fine. Okay, it's fine. The problem I have with it is the hot end, right? Because of the nozzle, the proprietary heat break, the proprietary nozzle block heat break. Those things on a machine that's meant to print hotter is going to cause problems at some point. It won't for a while. There's a lot of people using the S2 that absolutely love it, and it is a really good value. Like, it's actually really inexpensive, and on paper it can do everything, especially if you put it in an enclosure. So it's not a bad machine. And I have a video on my channel where you can modify it with a different hot end. Ray from the Facebook groups designed a little thing you can print. I printed in PETG and it's been working fine. I would suggest you printing probably in ABS or ASA if you can, maybe even nylon. That'll be way better actually for it. But you can make that machine significantly better for 30, 40, 50 bucks. So not a bad start at all. Yeah, it has some downsides. Like, I think it's an H32 chip. It's not too bad of a downside, especially now you can run Klipper on H32 machines. So it's not the best, but you know, if you're going to buy a machine and you have nothing else, there's probably better machines out there. It just depends on what you're looking for. How about this question for you? What's drawing you to the S2? Let me know and I'll catch it. Or try to. See, there you go, Michael. I like my S2 a lot. Also, let me fix this shaking before. So I moved. Oh, okay, it's the camera's actually touching the table. I removed my tripod from here so that it doesn't shake. And here we are, still shaking. All right, there we go. Now I can do stuff without the camera shaking too much. All right, there we go. Sorry about that, everybody. I know my last stream, I tried to rewatch it, but it shook so much I got nauseated. That's the only thing I've seen people complain about on other forums, the proprietary nature of the nozzle. Yeah, it's really, like, if you think about it, it's not that crazy of a deal. Just people are like loud on the internet, you know? It's not that big a deal. You can buy more of those nozzles when they wear out. You know, some people break the heat break. I've seen that a few times, but people do that on regular machines too. So I don't know. It's hard to pass up the deal for the machine. It's a really good price. 300C on such a cheap machine, especially with like an Ender clone that you can turn into anything that you want. You know, it's hard to argue. It just depends. If you're not feeling it, I wouldn't get it. But if you're interested in it, why not? You know, it's one of those. It's honestly getting much harder to rate machines and like review them. If they end up looking like an Ender clone, they're generally going to be pretty similar. Everyone's kind of like racing to put a bunch of stuff on their machines, put a sensor on it, and then, you know, it's the same thing over and over again. I guess it's like what I do notice is back to back to back to back is someone will make like Soval, for example, SV01, SV06 I hear is great. The artillery that I really like, the Sidewinder X2. All these printers are near perfect like this, and then they have the one thing that kind of, you know, makes it weird, like the S2, for example. Great, one thing, weird proprietary hot end. The artillery Sidewinder X2, which I do still think is one of the current best machines that you can buy for the price, at least. It has a bed that can't be removed. You have to replace the whole thing. So, like, that's not a bad thing. Like, it's going to take a while for you to ruin that bed. So you're going to enjoy that printer for years before anything happens. But still, like a weird thing to do to a machine that has everything else. And a lot of machines are like that. The D1 that I just reviewed, well, not reviewed, I just unboxed it live, the Voxelab Aquila D1. I actually really like that machine. I've been using it a lot, and it's great. But yet again, the firmware is weird. It has a bunch of things that are lost in translation, has a bunch of UI issues. You know, I come from a design background, UI, UX, and in user experience, if you have a menu with arrows where you're going to choose a menu item, but then you click it and it's actually a button, it gives you like this weird experience where you're not even sure what you're doing anymore. You know, one button above it takes you to a menu, but the same looking button clicking does a task. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm getting at. So it's all in one of those things, like, how nitpicky are you going to get? And what are you trying to do with this? Because if you have money, get yourself a carbon, a bamboo lab, P1P, or if you have even more money, a carbon, and enjoy yourself. Enjoy printing until something goes wrong, fix it, keep going. Otherwise, if you want to get in on a budget, you're going to have to compromise a bit. And I think my channel kind of fits in right under there. I do have some more premium machines coming this year to test. And it's exciting for several reasons. One is I haven't experienced any, like, I don't know, premium is a weird thing to say. I haven't experienced those like higher level, higher grade machines because I just can't afford them myself. So the only way I'd be able to do it is if someone's trusted me enough to test them. So I have a few. I have one from FL Sun. I have one. What's that company called? Flying Bear. That's going to be a cool one. I have another Core XY machine that I'll be building. And then I have a bunch of my own projects that I want to do. Like, you guys see these panels behind me, these Voxelab panels, that's for an Aries machine. I want to get the Aries printing ABS consistently so I can print some ABS parts. More hints. But things like that. I don't even know what I was talking about anymore. So, thanks for tuning in. My TED Talk. Sean, great. Thank you, sir. Picked up an S2, and it was giving me really weird bed adhesion. I flipped the plate over. Used the blue masking tape, washable glue stick, and it worked perfectly now. Yeah, that's good. Like, I'm not knocking the machine. Like I said, it's a great value. I just think that there's like one thing that's kind of off, and I think it'll be totally fine until you might maybe have an issue or maybe need a replacement. You can't get it, and at that point, I think you can just modify it. And like I said, I have a video to help on how to do that, and it became a really good machine after that. So every machine has its faults. I think for some reason in the Chinese printer market, right? I think for some reason, like I've been saying, is all of them, pretty much every machine has something that, like, they shoot themselves in the foot before they run, type of deal. And I'm not sure why. Like the latest machine that I just released the video on today, the King Rune KP3S Pro. Love it. It's down here. I'm enjoying it. I've been modifying it even more than the video. I'll do another one probably on it because I'll be probably doing Klipper on it. That machine also has some like strange things about it, like the strange what's it called, tube, the reverse Bowden system on it. The way that some of the sensors on it are mounted are just, it could have been so much better with just a tiny little tweak, and it's such a little weird thing, but we have to nitpick because every machine is between what, $200 and $400 now. Like, there's so many machines to pick from in that price range. It's going to get really difficult. I think there's either going to be machines that are total breakthrough from that price, or they're going to go so cheap where they're going to go under $200 with a bunch of things that you can get on it, and that's going to be the deal. But otherwise, I think a lot of machines are going to get lost in that price range. 2023 is going to be a crazy year for 3D printing. Also, I haven't taken anything apart on this, so let's do that while we're chatting, huh? I think that was kind of the whole point. So one of the things I want to start with, I don't know if I'll be able to film my camera here. I might have to like just spin everything. Yeah, let me go ahead and spin everything. Before I get back to the comments and my endless rambling, let me at least set myself up so I can do some work. But the idea today is just to start taking things apart. I'm not going to be able to finish or get too far, you know. All right, let's show you what's in here. Sidewinder bed AC powered? Yeah, it is. And that's a huge strength as well. And, you know, it was probably why it is how it is. I'm teaching a 3D printing after-school program. I've been trying to make video tutorials on designing objects for 3D printing for students. Do you have any advice? Yeah, I was just kind of mentioning design. Definitely start in Tinkercad. Start with the basics. I think Tinkercad is really cool in the way that it works. You take super basic shapes, and you know take a square and you take a circle, put the circle slightly over it, and make it a hole, and it removes the circle from the square. And I think that instantly clicks in kids' head, or at least it did in my head, and I'm a big kid. That's how I'm judging this. And I think that will be. I think Tinkercad's the best place to start if you're going to design anything, especially with kids. It's free. I think there's a bunch of education-related stuff in there. I think that would be a great place to start. How's Frankenstein and the plane? So Frankenstein's still sitting there, surrounded by parts. I'm gonna get to that at some point. I at least plan on it, and that's gonna remain that way for a bit. But yeah, I still have plans. The thing is, the scape, the 3D printing scape is changing all the time. And like I planned something for it, and some ideas change, and it's kind of just been collecting parts. But I have a ton of parts that I'd love to throw on there. And like I said, this year I'm going to take on a lot less 3D printers for review, and try to focus more on just doing mods and projects and helping more people out. And the plane's ready. That's happening. It's just cold right now, and I'm not going to go freeze my fingers off flying anyway, so I'll probably assemble it maybe in a live stream and then do a video on it. Fedor, can you put Klipper on the standard Voxelab Aquila? Do you have a tutorial? I don't have a tutorial, but yes, you can. Man, it's just slipping my mind on the spot. What's the guy's name? He does a lot of Aquila videos. If you type in Aquila Klipper, he will be the guy. Zumi, you know the guy's name. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I don't mean that in any kind of rude way. I just have memory issues. There's a lot of names that I can't remember. But anyway, he has a YouTube channel that's pretty much dedicated to modifying the Aquila. And he did some really in-depth videos on how to get Klipper running on the Aquila. Right now, I did see that you can even get the H32 on Klipper. So yeah, all Aquilas can run Klipper at the moment. Leo, yes, Prince Leo. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, that's everybody. Yeah, there you go. Sumi B Cuddy. Yes, that's his name. Prince Leo 3D. Yeah, good guy, super knowledgeable. He knows his stuff, and when he's so enthusiastic when he starts his videos, it's fantastic. Yeah, that's definitely his realm for sure. He's great at it. But yeah, I'm so excited to have a Raspberry Pi that's idle. Yeah, that should be fun. All right, let's get in here. Actually, why do I even have this? Let's, where's my Hodo tool? Is it? Yeah, there we go. Power. So I'll just put all my hardware into this magnetic tool holder for now. And I'll have to go back and sort all the screws. What about for non-noobs? Well, he basically follows some tutorials, right? And that's all we're all going to do. There's a bunch of tutorials on GitHub. They tell you exactly what to do. There are forks of Klipper with with installations for different chips and different setups. So if you're not a noob, go on GitHub, search for H32 Klipper, and I bet you'll find it, and then you can just do it from there. Oh, I didn't even know he has a Discord server. I'll have to jump in. Pretty nice. Cool. That's good to know. B Cuddy, thanks for putting that in here. Going to make a quick video on the takedown. 30 minutes. First. No one said it was going to be quick. No one. I said it's going to be a impromptu video. One thing I do want to say, I just realized, because the knock to a fan. So this was, one of its strengths wasn't print speed. It wasn't fast, but this thing is completely silent. I'm talking like no noise. Everything on here, every fan on here, even in the power supply, is a knock to a fan at 12 volts. I think I have actually overvolted them for to 13 or so, or maybe even 14. But they are just, everything on here was super silent. And that was always huge. So yeah, this is the enclosure I made. The Raspberry Pi sat right here. It has its what's called USBs here, power here, and then everything ran off of these 4 buck converters. So everything pretty much runs in almost like a harness to the bottom of the power supply where it's regulated, and then everything, I try to make it neat at least. So the bed has its own, I don't remember what these are called, it's been so long. Switch, I honestly don't even remember the name of that thing. But yeah, buck converters, everything's dedicated. We have an SKR 1.3. We have some steppers, just 4. These dual Z's aren't individual. I never did it. I just wired them off a Y. I probably should have done it. There's space for it. I just never did it. Kind of quick and dirty in that way. But yeah, we should be able to harvest a decent amount of parts off of this. And I also made this door in a transparent door, and all the LEDs would glow. And I don't remember why I took it off. I guess the LEDs were like shining in my face, so I would work next to this thing. This is just like a USB extension up here. I don't even remember everything that's on here, but I know the hot end is a beautiful Thetis Zodiac hot end that I plan on reusing in another build. I'll go over the hot end when I get there. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to make. I remember tuning the firmware was just something I didn't enjoy doing at all. It was just something I did, but I just couldn't. I mean, I did it, right? It has custom Marlin firmware. Just didn't enjoy it. I know some people really like that part. Have any of you heard of this board called the Lurge? I believe it's called. I was on the verge of getting the Lurge board. The reason why I mention it is because those boards are pretty interesting. Like, you don't have to make the firmware. You give it power, and then you can essentially, through a GUI, through like a menu system, tell it what the parameters are of your machine, and then it'll just run. I thought that was kind of interesting. Let me turn this music down just a hair. It's loud in my ear. Probably loud for you guys too. I'm sure the coffee came from like no, it's actually coffee in there this time. Nice. No, I gotta just generally cut back down. I lost a bunch of weight, then gained it back, then lost a bunch of weight, then gained it back. I gotta stop these games. Get some stability going again with my weight. Anyway, how should I tackle this? I guess let me unscrew it, and then I'll start unplugging, and we'll do it that way. Hey, Suman, how are you, buddy? You said Lurge is good. I don't have any experience with it, but seems interesting. I haven't been on their site in a while, but from what I recall, it seemed like a really cool idea, especially if you're going to be building custom stuff and firmware isn't your thing. Something I might need to revisit, just because I haven't in so long. I wonder if they have something new. You know, boards have also gotten, have like Big Tree Tech. Big Tree Tech is really just going at a crazy pace. Like I'm a big fan. They seem to be putting out awesome products left and right, like things that I want. Like that Manta board with the CB1, I got to put that to use, and I will, hopefully this year. I heard Lurge even released a cheap Prusa mini style. Oh yeah, yeah. And you mean, you know, Prusa is open source, so I believe it. You mean like a whole printer? You know what? Can I move this? Oh yeah, here we go. Let's get this thing out of the way a bit. These aren't belted, by the way, because I don't know. I don't remember what the reason was why I didn't belt these. Maybe they should have been. I was looking at the Manta too. Yeah, I mean, Stone Farmer, the Manta looks just incredible. And they make a smaller one, they make a larger one. It just does everything. I'm going to have to get it out just so I can talk about it more. Like, I have it over here somewhere. This thing is truly like, maybe this will push you over the edge in buying it. So I would definitely recommend either having a Pi, like a CM4, which impossible, obviously, or just getting their CB1. But here, check this out. Let's get it over here. I mean, okay, you can pretty much do anything. Like, some of the cool stuff is, one, this is a great idea. Straight from the power supply, feed this thing power, really secure. One of the cool things is you give it a fan. Where is it? Fans are right here. So you can have like 6 fans. You give this thing fans, and then there's a little jumper where you tell it whether it's a 5 volt, 12 volt, or a 24 volt fan. You don't need any buck converters for anything. You can just run this from everything, from anything. And then you put their little CB1 board right over here, and you have Klipper, you have Octoprint, you have whatever you want. This thing is, and it's not even that expensive. Like, you would expect this to be like hundreds of dollars, but I don't think it is. I think it's under $100. I think it's, honestly don't remember, but I remember looking up the price and being in shock of the value of this board. Obviously, it's fairly large. Like, I did find in my parts here a Creality board. I'm sure a majority of you guys will be familiar with this size. So obviously, it's much larger. Okay, zoomy zoom, zoomy. But I don't know. You can't compare these in any way. Like, the quality of this is comedic in comparison to that Manta board. So yeah, I haven't used it, but man, do I wanna. I mean, look at the back even. Look at the back. Look at the back. Like, the amount of time spent. Yeah. Anyone know the price of this? By the way, can someone put it in the chat? Suman, yeah, I think I might use this in that build. So we'll see. New canvas board from BTT directly connects to Manta 2. Oh yeah? Lord Boo, all BTT boards are nice. Yeah, what's the other one I have? This is for, right, this was the board that I'm going to use on the Frankenstein, as Zumi called it, on the Ultimate Aquila. Why won't you zoom now? There it goes, not zoom. Focus. I mean, this is like $30. This board is like $30. How do they manage? I guess just quantity. That's the SKR 3v3, something like that. Wow, I've really done no work. This is just a hangout stream at this point, which I'm fine with, as long as you guys are fine. With 4-steppers. That's a heck of a board for sure. Yeah, Patrick. Just under 90 on Amazon. Stone, thanks. Yeah, under $100. You got to think about that. Like, if you buy that board for some build, like, one, it's got to be a pretty serious build. But, like, that's the last board. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to buy anymore. Like, that board, I have a feeling, will outlast the machine. Kind of like this SKR 1.3 outlasted this machine. Like, there's nothing wrong with this board. I can add another stepper and you know, put this thing in it, in anything, really. Also, they have those screens that I'm really interested in. I have one, but it needs a CB4. CM4? It needs the Raspberry Pi that's a compute unit. And I can't get one. I've been looking for one for like a year. They're just too expensive. Like, if you find one, they're obnoxious. It's just unreasonable to me. Where's my other screwdriver? God, I'm gonna have way too many tools out. Need a tiny little flathead. Look at that. Who doesn't crimp and ferrule their connectors? Ridiculous. I rate this a 1 out of 10 build. I'm just gonna start unplugging. Do I need to know what any of this was? Probably not. Come on. There we go. Can I pull this out yet? Almost. Actually, this wire, I'd like to stay with this stepper motor so that I know what it was from and I can label it later. On the screen's definitely usable on this thing. It's one of those TFT 35s, 45s, I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll have to spin it and look. Did you ever finish the Ultimate Aquila build? No, I would just keep talking about it. No, I haven't finished it. It's sitting off to the side here, and I keep planning on doing stuff for it, and I find cooler and cooler stuff, and I get it, whether I purchase it or receive it from somebody who wants to sponsor the build, and then I set it off to the side, and then something else comes up. So it's been an empty promise for now. That hopefully I'll get to. Yeah, I can't fully disclose on what I want to do with it because I've been talking with one company about something really cool, like a kit. I can't go into detail with it just out of respect because I didn't ask permission. And I don't want to mention it without asking. But I'm waiting for that. Honestly, that's what it is. It's this kit that I think would be really cool to add to an Aquila machine, especially to a 400 by 400 by 250 Aquila machine. Octopi can be ran on Pi 3. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can run Octopi on a bunch of stuff. I really wish these little things were powerful enough. The little Picos, but they're not. But I'm going to use this for a USB accelerometer, I think. I did buy a bunch of those when they were, I guess they still are really inexpensive. But I remember I went to Micro Center and I bought for $15. I bought the day that the Raspberry Pi Zero W2s came out. I bought one of those. I should have bought more. I didn't even think about it. I bought one and they were sold out the next day and gone forever. And I bought a few of these while I was in there. But, you know, regrets. All right, so let's see what SD card I have. Oh, just a little 4 gigabyte in here. Interesting. Yeah, nice little board. Good quality to everything. It served me really well. And actually, this was my second one. Actually, now I remember, I ruined a driver. I don't remember what I did, but I remember I had smoke and everything, and it was one of the drivers themselves, and it burned up one of the connectors to the board. And Big Tree Tech sent me one instantly, and I don't even think it was their fault. I was just trying to get to the bottom of what was happening, and they sent me one without any promises. This wasn't like for a video or anything. That was way before YouTube. But yeah, this is also a cool board. There's lots of options. You can pretty much make it do whatever you want, and it's older. I don't even know how much these are now. But yeah, SKR version 1.3. One thing I didn't plan on is where am I going to put this stuff as I take it apart? Live stream. All right, I'll just put it with the other board. So one thing I'm going to do in the new studio once I tear all this up is I'm going to try not to have piles of stuff. It's going to be really difficult to do, but that's a challenge that I'm making for myself, because what you guys don't see under this table is it's just filled with parts. It's just an absolute nightmare. I want to avoid that. You can have a lot of cams and plugins. Yes. Well, 4, right? The Pi, well, 3, because one of these will be the printer. I guess you can put a hub on here. That's it. We'll drive down there and get it to build it. IDEX Aquila? Oh, no, that's a hint. No, it's not an IDEX. So IDEX has its cool things. Like, for example, this IDEX machine that has a bunch of, these are table leg extenders. Those are extenders for another set of these IKEA LAC tables. But I don't actually use that for dual color. I use that to print 2 things at once. And I think that's its like best use case, because it literally prints double speed. I really enjoy this particular machine, but I think there's systems out and coming out that are so much better for multiple color. I don't necessarily even want another IDEX machine. I've turned down one from Kaiwu, although I wish Kaiwu, I don't know what's going on with them. But yeah, they had a huge sale and they're just not replying. I haven't heard anything from them in a long, long time. And I still have a Kaiwu machine down here that I really want to do stuff to, but I don't know. If they reply, maybe. Hey, Feder, guess what I'm building? What are you building? I could never guess. You make so much stuff. I would have no idea what you're building. SKR 1.4 is $45. Wow. What's the difference between the 1.4 and 1.3? I put parts, items. I'm working on filament boxes. I do too. It's an issue. I also have Tupperwares and Tupperwares and Tupperwares of stuff. Hopefully I'll get like a rack that actually will go where this table is now, where I can put stuff like that for easy access and storage. Yeah, that cigar box, huh? Well, Zoomy. I got 2 cigar boxes. When I'm done with them, I put the parts I like in here. Like, for example, Zodiac doesn't exist anymore, but Fedas does, and man, the quality here is just next level. By the way, that's that nozzle alone was like $100 or something. I don't remember. It's a Kickstarter. Not trying to flex or anything. Don't use it, collects dust because I'm not smart. But yeah, same cigar box. We all have issues. Yeah, that's why we're in this hobby in the first place. Tank printer. That's zoomy. Tank printer. That's that's the best guess. If you guys are in the Discord and you talk to Armad Zumi, you'll know that she's a fan of tanks. And she's a fan of printing. So naturally, that seems totally you. Anything else on this printer you guys are interested in hearing? Any kind of reasoning? Like I mentioned before, this used to have rods, both on the X and the Y. There were, what is it, 8 millimeter rods, like a Prusa. But then I went to carbon because they were just too long. This is what, 500 wide, something like that, 500 long, 500 wide. They were too long, and I was getting like resonance. So I thought carbon would be good. But the thing with carbon, when it's short, it's super great. But when it's really long, it has even more resonance because they're hollow on the inside. So I actually ended up filling the carbon rods. I don't remember with what. I bought dowels. I bought literally dowels, and I hammered them in. It took forever. I had to sand. It was crazy. I tried to fill the carbon rods, and that didn't do much. It made things lighter, like significantly, but that didn't really do much. I still had the same issues. So I ended up switching over to extrusions. And this is when the machine started performing really well. Like I said, somewhat slow. I wasn't blazing fast with this thing. It was before printing fast was cool. But yeah, I still remember sitting right next to it, my desk, like it sat on my desk, and it was completely silent, like no fan noise. Obviously, I put this thing on there and then started blowing the doors off everything. But before that, when it had dual Noctos for cooling. YouTube star. I wouldn't say that whatsoever. YouTube star. That's hilarious. Difference between 1.3 and 1.4 Wi-Fi and dual Z. For real? Wi-Fi? Oh, that's a great add-on. Yeah, having Wi-Fi right out of the gate is very nice. I'm assuming it's that's the kind that you can like put right into a Cura, for example, just like the Kaiwa machines, like the Robin boards, Robin Nano boards. I always thought that was so cool because you don't need that, like replacing the SD card is so nice. I don't necessarily mind SD cards, but not having them is just better in every way. Did he just say the 515 is letting the doors open? All right, Lord, I don't want to get you started. I know what you like. But yeah, in my opinion, going from dual 40 millimeter Noctuas to a 50-15, yes, that thing is way too loud in comparison. When's the Voron build coming? Soon. All right. What is this thing called? Why don't I remember? My memory. Kids, don't hit your head repeatedly over and over again so that you can keep your memory. Guys and gals, what is this called? Why don't I remember? It's for the bed. You feed this power, and then you go from here to a bed. Please remind. MOSFET. That word. The things that I thought it was. Yes, MOSFET. Yeah, when I was designing this enclosure, I made sure there was openings behind it, and the way that it works was like the fan, since this was solid, the cover's solid, the fan would blow outward, which means it would pull air from behind all the electronics. And it actually worked really well, much to my surprise. Most of the things I make are pretty experimental. Layoff special brownies? No, no brownies. Just in general head trauma over time from various sports, I guess, in a way. Yeah, I wonder what I will. Are these obsolete? Like, do people use these anymore? I remember they were like a big deal, like back in the ANET days. I remember you like had to have one. Like, I wouldn't dare to build a machine without one of these. Lord with rat rig, yeah, rat rig's very nice as well. Dragtail, yeah, MOSFET. Couldn't remember. Let's get all this out of here. So weird to see this thing unpopulated. Oh, I was like, what is this for? But it's for the screen. What is one of the most practical things you've ever printed that you would recommend others to print? Wow, amazing question. I mean, well, yeah, question. I don't know. I think some of the stuff that I printed that's really practical is like it has like a use just for me almost. Like things that are coming to mind, like things for home, right? I did a little short where I made a bezel um, for a light fixture in my dining room. It's like, it's not so much a specific print that I have that I would suggest that's practical. It's like doing fixes. So you find some problem that you have, and then you fix it with a 3D printer. That's my favorite type of thing. I'd recommend doing like finding a problem to solve. Like for example, I had a couple switches that I can't have turned off. Like I have oil heat at the house, and there's a switch that turns the oil heat off, and it's right next to a light switch. So I printed a little cover that goes over that switch. Like that's a practical print. That was really good. Next to my computer, I ran a bunch of wiring through the wall, and I decided on, I guess through the wall I wanted like a Cat5 cable plus power in a specific way. So I just quickly quickly designed a little cover for the wall with holes to put all the wires through, and internet and power, and printed that in white, and it's been there for years. It's just like little practical things like that really make 3D printing just great. It really feels good when you like fix a problem. Other practical things though, like here, like these things get used all the time. They're even dirty. These are printed in a TPU, little coasters. This little thing with rubber feet on it is printed in PLA. Oh, here. So bam, coasters. If you're here, I just have them in a little thing. That's cool. Find some Thingiverse, I'm sure. Thing that I've been using a lot lately is a phone holder. This one has a GoPro mount. I have some that are for tripods. So your phone goes in here and you just spin this, and it just holds it. Very useful. Super easy to print, lays flat, great design by whoever made that. Yeah, like that was just the thing. I needed a phone holder, so I printed the thing. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, it's hard to say one specific thing. Try to fix a problem. Yep, I made a cover for the feed hole on the top of my new aquarium light hood. Yeah, like things like that really make you feel good. Printed my dad a couple of ham radio loading coils that save him about $100, $100+ Unfortunately, I printed them PLA plus. That's not so much unfortunate. It'll be okay for a while, unless you have them out in the sun and you printed them in like black PLA. Then yeah, it might do some droopy. PETG, even though it still has a low melting temperature, works actually really well for a bunch of stuff. Like one time I printed an adapter for my car. I had an Impreza at the time, and I put a cone filter on the MAF sensor, and I printed literally in PETG. I printed an MAF adapter, and it was in my engine bay for like a year at least, and it worked perfectly. All right, let's take these little guys out. You know what? Can't I magnetize this? I think I can. Yeah. Let's see. Not enough yet. Why am I not using my tool that I have here that has batteries in it, so I don't have to just use hand tools? I do that every time. Alright, well apparently my magnet trick's not working so well. Now I've caused myself all kinds of issues. Where to go? Oh well. I'll find it later when it gets in my way. Alright, so these buck converters are all for fans, from what I remember, for Noctua fans. And I will definitely hold on to them. I remember I bought like a 10-pack or something of these buck converters, and they've been handy. They were about $1. Horrible joke. I heard this horrible joke today that I've forced upon my family. It was a skeleton walked into a bar and ordered a beer and the mop. Get it? Look at that. Some buck converters ready to go with connectors for fans. I'm sure we could use that at some point. Although there's more boards like the Manta boards. These are also obsolete. Do I have a box that can house this stuff? That's the question. Looks like this one goes straight to the power supply, and we'll be able to get it through here without taking the power supply off, which I will do a little later. The power supply, I think anybody taken one of these power supplies and made themselves like a station, like a desktop station to test with? Is that dangerous? Probably is. I feel like I want to make like one of those things where I could plug things in to test, whether the fans or maybe have some gauges. I don't even know what they're called. I'm not an engineer, guys. Design. The vacuum will find it. Yep. Spending Friday night watching a guy try to magnetize his tool. Yep. Welcome to the stream. Hey, if it was on Twitch, there'd be so many people watching. Twitch has gotten weird. Anybody notice that? There's some weird, weird stuff on Twitch. All right, this thing is bothering me. Let's take this off next. So all these 3D printed parts, I don't need or want anymore. So I'm going to put them in a box. Maybe there'll be something at some point I can do with them, but I doubt it. It's always sad to put a bunch of this plastic in the trash, especially because you feel like you've made it, you know? Well, not you feel like, you actually did. Anyone have that guilt? Putting 3D prints in the trash or recycling? Test stations. Yeah, I think it seems like a good idea, right? Like, OnlyFans? Yeah, OnlyFans. OnlyFans is OnlyFans. At least I understand OnlyFans. There's some things on Twitch that are like a strange in between of OnlyFans. Like, anymore, and they would have to go on OnlyFans, if that makes any sense. These are little useful little things. Little things that hold wires. Song kind of reminds me of like something from the Matrix. I don't know why. Here's a box. There we go. Utilize this. This will be my Sort Electronics ASAP box. Horrible idea. That's a horrible idea. I'm going to stow that thing in the corner somewhere. So yeah, you mentioned your Friday night. Yeah, my family's upstairs in bed. I usually come downstairs once they're in bed and comfy and ready, and I spend a couple hours here and there doing whether video stuff, editing. Sometimes I play some Diablo, things like that. So yeah, same. That kind of fans. Lord gets excited anytime anyone says fans. Fans? This hot end. Kind of want to take it off just to show it a bit. Yeah, that'll be next. All right, let's take this enclosure off first. Nope. Let's take these out. So this was before I had any heated inserts. So everything is just into plastic, but it's lasted for years. Wife's in California, just relaxing. Oh yeah, nice. Quiet. That's rude. Sorry. Are you going to try Bamboo Lab? I would love to. I personally can't afford right now to just buy one of those. I would love to try one in some way, shape, or form. Even if it was like borrowed from somebody or something. I'm not going to even attempt that, but I would love to. And I'd love to show it off and give my opinion on it after I have it like in my hands. But there's so much information about that machine right now from people that tend to be positive, from people that tend to be critical. You can get every angle about that machine online already. So I'm not necessarily like jumping out, of my pants to try to buy that machine. Just for review, in terms of like needing a fast machine, I'm not doing any kind of production or anything anymore So I don't really need it. I think that it's critical to just 3D printing in general. I think that company just absolutely killed it, and I just hope they keep doing it and keep changing the game and keep pushing everybody. Keep pushing all these companies to just do better, and I think they will. So yeah, I would love to. I just can't, unless they for some reason decide to send me one, which they clearly have no interest in. I don't blame them at all. Maybe once they have like a more budget machine or something, like a really budget machine, which I'm sure they will. Like, I'm sure of it. Wow, this thing is really secured on here. Good job, Past Fetter. Like, it is held on from every angle. Like, too good. Like, check this out. So, inside here, it has 2 T-nuts. One up here. And then as we come around, of course I'm pulling all the wires. One up here and 2 down there. Like, this thing it's on there. It ain't going nowhere. Sorry, I know this view is kind of pointless for a little while until this thing's off, but we'll get there. We'll get there, everybody. All right, you know what? I'm just going to take this all the way out, and I know I'm going to lose the T-nut, but that's okay. Julian, I got this roll of filament that just doesn't want to stick to the bed. I'm busy all evening trying to get it to work. Have you tried going hotter on the bed and cleaning it with soap and water and getting it really dry and trying again? And is the bed glass? Wow, that screw is gone forever. That bolt, that thing went. That's a vacuum bolt right there. A lot of times, when I get filament like that, and I just want to avoid glue, because for some reason it bothers me, giving the bed like a hot water wash with soap really does like help, especially if it's a glass bed. Obviously, it like reinvigorates whatever that coating is on top. So if all else hasn't worked, give that a try. Why not? You have nothing to lose at that point. I hope the filament isn't everyone. Yeah, same. Ooh, that's some dust right there. All right, let me see. I'll put this to a different corner here. My little tool collector. T-nuts. I remember I bought a giant box of them. I use them all. There's so many T-nuts in this build. Very useful. What an invention. Oh, so that wasn't a bolt that flew away. That was actually a T-nut. What are the chances that I spot it right away? 0? Yes. Ow! Ow! Well, that was my head. And I did see it, by the way. So I'll be able to get that a little later. All right. No worries. John Strand, sorry, late to the party. That's okay, man. Don't be sorry. You're here now, right? Are you laughing at my misfortune, Patrick? Table shakes, yeah. Yeah, it's because I bashed my head. It's a glass bed, yes. Cleaned it with dish soap. Now printing with my trusty old Eson. So you're saying you putting a different filament, not changing anything else, sticks, but some particular filament doesn't? That's interesting. So it must have some compound in it that's different. Is it PLA plus? Just as a question. Um, yeah, you might have to use, glue. It happens sometimes. This is an odd looking machine. Well, it's odd looking because I made it. And as a person that doesn't have any background in building machines or any kind of engineering at all, that should explain it. Although this did function really well. It was just made pre-YouTube, pre-video camera, so I don't have much footage outside of, I guess, things I have on Instagram. I have a lot of pictures of it. But it actually functioned really well, and I tested a lot of my design ideas on this machine. It was really fun to build. All right, I think now that this enclosure is off, I think we will rotate this thing, and I kind of want to show off the hot end, because that was not only the latest thing I made for this thing, but I feel the most proud, if that makes sense, of it. Because some of the stuff that's on this machine was, like I said, made by, designed by a guy named Mohd, M-O-H-D. Helped me so much back in the day. I always wanted to do this hot end that he made. We had a collab. He sent me all of his files. Really, really good designs. And I ended up modding them quite a bit. But I never ended up putting it on that Ultimate Aquila, at least not yet. So I couldn't give him credit. But some of the things on here, I think he does like the bear, I think they call it the bear mod, where you widen a stock ANET A8 Plus. And I think that because this is what this started at. So it has some of the cubes, some of the pieces that he made, they're all modded. None of them are just someone's thing printed. I've modded every single one of them to my own ideas and changes and whatnot. But I just realized this camera is just useless. Everything's so dusty and dirty. This fan is absolutely filthy. It's from just years of use. But yeah, I'm pretty much going to recycle all of this plastic. There's a ton of it. I'm trying to recycle as much of the hardware as possible to other projects if I can find a use case for them. Some of these things are just too old to be used, but Noctua fans will always have a spot. And the hot end I plan on reusing. Stepper motors are always good to have. So, and extrusions also. Because I think if I do one of those test stations, I think I'll use some extrusions so I can mount whatever to it. It'd be kind of fun to have a Raspberry Pi built into one of those, so you can just plug in things with USB, like cameras or lights or a printer, and test it to some degree. I think that'll be kind of cool. Yeah, there we go. Stone says something similar to what I was saying. He had a PEI sheet, right? Is that what I just read? Yeah, he had a smooth PEI. He had to wash it with Dawn soap and then wipe it down with alcohol, and it fixes adhesion issues. That has worked for me in the past. I know it can be really frustrating, not when plastic just doesn't want to stick. But yeah, that has helped me before in the past. Yeah, so the Bear is an upgrade to the Prusa. and the ANET A8 Plus was in a way a Prusa clone, just 300 by 300 or 280. I don't remember what the bed size was. Funky bed size. Or maybe not. I think it's 300. But it's a really, really, really cheap, inexpensive, and not like cheap because the parts were just junk, like just trash. Pretty much the only thing that I used on here was some of the extrusions, like some of these I bought myself. But some of the extrusions, the ones that are actually like low quality, you can see like this one's like matte and the paint is bad. And the power supply. This power supply has never failed, but everything else, like even some of the wiring from that machine was just garbage. So I would never suggest it to anybody. It was just something that I did. That's how I thought it would be a good idea because it was so inexpensive. All right, knocked to a fan, salvaged. Even PIs to be clean, yeah, for sure. Always keep some isopropyl alcohol around for that. Yeah, the Bear stuff is cool. I always enjoyed it. But there's a guy named Mode, M-A-H-D. I think you can find his stuff on Thingiverse. He does a lot of RC car stuff now. The designs he does for some of these RC cars are just amazing. But yeah, like he sells a lot of 3D printed parts. That's what he does. And he has a bunch of Aquila machines. I think I inspired him early on because, like I said, I was working with him on a bunch of different designs with those machines. Because when they came out, they were a game changer, at least to me. All right, you know what? I think. All right. Let's see if I can cut through this. Nope. Can I cut through this part? Yeah. There we go. Let's get this wire out of here. All right. See ya. I think like I mentioned earlier in the stream, I think what I'm gonna do is I'll pull up some old photos of this. Like I took some photos of this thing while I was building it, and make a post about it because I thought it would be a cool way to just kind of give it a good old sayonara. All right, look at this mess. Look at this mess. Does this give anybody any kind of worry? I'm not gonna be able to sleep if I don't get this tucked away somewhere. My OCD will just be singing into my brain. Every time. Wait, I just heard the music. Then I heard you swallow the Miller Lite. Wow, it's a poetic statement. Why Miller Lite, by the way? Did I have Miller Lite on stream before? Maybe. No Miller Lite this time. Got a little end switch. You can always use these for various things. You know what? Let me take this print off. I don't want to see this filament anymore. This filament is inland orange. I don't remember what the orange. It's like a peach color. I know like the saturation in the video is different, or makes it seem different, but it's like a peach color. And I remember I've had so many spools of this. Probably like 4 spools were used in the design of this printer. And yeah, I don't know if I ever want to see it ever again. No word until you apply power. I will not be applying any power. Looks like my printer wiring. No, it doesn't. Alright, keep that on there. And down into the box of the abyss. Into the abyss it goes. Alright. I gotta get some smaller wire loom that I purchased before, just a little bit smaller. I have like 1.5 inches or something like that, and it's a little bit too wide. And this stuff's okay, but visually it doesn't look that great. It does work functionally really well. Easy to take off, easy to put back on. But you know what? This is for the bed. I might as well leave this on there actually. Right? Kind of hold it in place a bit. Yeah. This is a 300 by 300 bed on here with a, so the carriage is completely just a custom, it's an aluminum sheet that I bought on Amazon, and I made my own design and cut it out. I'll show you the wheels on how I made it work. And it was actually kind of an interesting idea there too. I've never seen it on anything else. The wheels are adjustable on these like sliders. It's probably because why would you need that? It's probably why you don't see it. All right. What's going on here? Why is this going through it? Aha. What's this for? Oh, end switch. Okay. All right, that's the bed. Let's get this off. Another little end switch here. This hardware is going right in the trash. Actually, you know what? I have to sort it anyway. Might as well put it in there. A box of death. Yeah, it really is. Like, I shouldn't. It feels like a mistake. And it feels like a mistake right away. Well. Alright. This camera's useless at the moment, because there's no detail of anything. But let me rotate this to the hot end, because we're finally at that area. Oh, jeez. All right, trying to be careful. Almost made it worse. All right. Hot end time. Actually, you know what? Let me take it off of there, right? So I'm gonna need a wrench. What time is it? 11:10. Wow. I'll probably do another 50 minutes, right? Go until 12 here, and that'll probably be all she wrote for me. Miller Lite. Yeah, I have Miller Lite. I have a 30 in the garage right now. But it's not necessarily like a drink of choice. I do prefer other brewskis before I would reach for a Miller Lite. But it definitely has its place and time. You know, it was just New Year's. Sometimes you want, sometimes you reach for quantity over quality. Okay, I've dropped plenty of hardware now. There's a wheel. There's a wheel. Let's see, can I get the belts off? Oh yeah. Right, I made the belts easy to take off. Why I decided that to be a feature, I'm not sure. But you basically like pull them through, and you loop them back on themselves, and it gets held in place. All right, so this was my idea for the ideal hot end design. And the point of this was actually to be printable. I wanted the whole thing to be printable with just a few parts, like wheels you can't get away from, obviously. Here, let me find those nuts. Let me find these nuts real quick. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Lucky. Foster's, yes. Australian for be. Oh, I'm not gonna do. I'm not. I almost did an accent. You don't want me doing accents. Almost did one. Yeah, craft beers. Definitely, I'm definitely a microbrew craft beer guy. Okay, so what will be better, this way or with an actual camera? Let's do it this way. Behave, behave, camera. There we go. All right, so the whole idea here was that you could print this in two pieces, kind of like a clamshell design, where the hot end, there is a Fetus Zodiac hot end in there, BMO I believe it's called. It's basically clamshelled in. So if you take off the fan, there's 4 bolts, you take them off and the hot end comes out and you can just drop another one in. So the idea was I had multiples that are V6 size, right? Like E3D V6 clones. You could have some with different nozzles, some with different, actually nozzle sizes was just my idea. That's kind of what I wanted to do. But it'd be a really quick drop-in replacement. That was the idea here. Obviously, the fact that it would be all printed was one of its major things. But what ended up happening was this idea, the fact that the extrusion has to be horizontal. Yeah, the extrusion, this has to sit on top of an extrusion, limits it in width. Like you couldn't put this on an Ender 3 or an Aquila, for example, because it wouldn't be able to go to the sides. And it has too small of a print bed for this thing to work. You guys might recognize this. If anyone has used the Fetter extruder, that's the lever for this. Essentially, that's built into here. So this would already, as you can see, would be able to do soft filaments right away. And this was all printed in carbon fiber nylon on an Aquila, actually. In fact, this particular filament that I got is a bit soft, and it ended up ending the project. Like, I thought the carbon fiber nylon would be really rigid, but it just was not. It really needs to be in ABS. I think that would be the only real way to print it. But you can kind of see, actually, that it is not straight anymore after sitting for about a year. But yeah, the whole idea was I wanted the stepper motor, the weight of it, because it is a full-size stepper motor, to be over the wheels, so that the weight would be distributed over everything. And this system did work. Like, if it worked for this machine really well. Then I tried to redesign this idea where the carriage was flipped 90 degrees so that you could put it on any Creality style printer. And I kind of ended the project there. But there was definitely some learning, and I'm definitely really happy with the way that this still came out, because at the end of the day, this thing was really functional, worked really well. I printed PETG, printed ABS with it. It just had its little limitations. But yeah, I'm definitely super stoked on this thing. I was very proud of it when I made it. But let's retire it. Let's take this thing apart. All right, you know what? We don't need that thing anymore, I think. Let's go to the view without it. Put it somewhere else for right now. And this screen is a touch screen. This is the kind that's, I don't remember what they're called. TFT 35, I think, from BQ, Big Tree Tech. But definitely nice. All right, let's get this hot end out of here. Patrick caught it. One-liners, yep. Alcoholism. Drinking's bad. Don't drink. Oh, any Magla fans? Magla fans? At least one, right? Pina colada Slurpee. Nice, Zoomy. Yeah, that was actually one of the ideas. I checked today the dimension. By the way, John, I believe I'm talking to. Yeah, John Strand. So I looked up the dimensions today, and they're extremely similar. So that's my idea. Is I want to put this hot end on the King Rune, and then use the Raspberry Pi I got from this build to potentially do Klipper. Hopefully, if you guys are interested in that, I'll be doing a live stream or video. I can't tell, like in terms of what's better financially for the channel. It's definitely videos. Live streams don't make any money, and it looks like people don't really rewatch them. So if you see me doing a live stream, it's just because I'm having fun. I'm not like trying to just monetize everything all the time. Like it's just fun to hang out with people that appreciate the videos that I make. Oh, this is probably somewhat interesting. So the original idea for this fan design was, one, I wanted to use Prusa style cooling ducts. Second of all, I wanted the fan to actually pool the air from the hot end so that the air doesn't spill onto the bed for printing materials like ABS and things like that. But it actually wasn't efficient enough cooling wise. And it had a lot of problems. So I ended up flipping this back to blowing air in, and that fixed all of the cooling issues that this had. Man, the print itself is really nice. But this is how it worked. Once you take the fan off, there's these 4 screws here. My whole PC is basically all maglevs. Nice. Not much repeatability of live streams, right? I mean, I personally rewatch other creators' live streams, but I feel like I'm in a minority there. I've installed Klipper on a King Root KPS. So I saw on their website, like they have a walkthrough and a video and all the links to everything, and it looks so easy. Like there's literally a link to download firmware. There's a link to download to put on the SD card for Klipper. So I think it'll be not only fun, I think it'll be easy. And if anyone has questions, I could always send people to it. I just don't know if, like, should I make a video? Like, if I make an instructional type video, they have one already. I'll be just following a tutorial in a video. Like, it just seems odd. I might just do that in a live feed, I think, in a live stream. So Yeah, so here we go. So that is the heated inserts on how this thing clamps together. Here's the other side with the hot end. And the whole idea here was that you can just yoink this thing out of here and swap this out to anything else. You just have these sitting there if you have extras, and you could just quickly change them out to whatever you might need. That was the hoop dream. What is the origins of the term hoop dream? Obviously, it sounds like it's related to basketball in some way, shape, or form. But like, is it? Hoop dream? All right, let's see. We free yet? We're free. Gotta be one of my favorite pieces of hardware outside of that Manta board. This little hot, I know it's dirty. So Zodiac. Zodiac was a company that I really wanted to work with from like day one. They had a Kickstarter for their nozzles. They don't exist anymore. I think they got bought by E3D and kind of dissolved into E3D. But the guy that started it was a pure passion project for these nozzles and eventually these hot ends. He worked for Glock and he developed some of the, I don't want to say that word wrong, but metal something. Come on. There we go. But the quality here, the machining, the materials is just the highest quality stuff. And it has so much weight, like this block has so much weight. But yeah, I'm thinking this is going to go into the King Rune machine. So I'll put that in the box of death. You know what I'm going to do? This is how I'm going to save. I'm going to make sure I get back to the box. The pie and this little case that I printed for it, I'm going to put it in there. And that way, the hot end and this is in there. And it's going to force me to clean it. That is my idea. We'll see what happens. Let me put it in there. All right, we have another Noctua fan. Oh yeah, the little fat boy Noctua, by the way. These things are awesome. I used to be into eGPUs before M1 Max came out. I had a Mac with an eGPU box that I built myself and a bunch of those fans on it. It was really fun to do. Nice. Now I got another one of these idle. Always nice. All right, and this I'm not gonna fully take apart. I don't think. No, I should. Dang it. All right, let's do it. I'll take it apart. There's an award-winning basketball documentary, Hoop Dreams. Really? Well, learn something new every day. That's crazy. That became an actual statement. I can't even tell you how many times I've said Hoop Dreams without ever knowing that's a thing. Free the hot ends. Yes. No, not the box of death. I mean, that's how I'm going to be able to make it not a box of death, right? That's going to be the only way. All right, lever. Oh, that almost went in my coffee. What is it, the fourth? the fourth bolt I dropped. Let's see if I hit my head. Nope, not this time. Not this time, camera legs. Camera legs. Tripod legs. Also, anyone else use OBS? And are there any resources that I should be familiar with? Like, I know a lot of people use OBS for their streams, and they have all of these like overlays and all these cool things that I don't know about yet that I would love to know about. Like, one thing I know is if like someone does like a super chat or a donation, they see it on the screen. And like right now I'm looking at my OBS. Like, should I be looking at my YouTube screen? Like, these are all things that I'd love to learn. Like, it looks like I have a ton of messages from all over the place, but I just can't look at any of them. Yeah, let's take a peek here. Yeah, like I wouldn't. It'd be a shame to miss if somebody, decided to do like a super chat thing, and I'm in OBS, so I can't see it. You know what I mean? Like, if any of you guys know anything about OBS and there's some kind of resource that you found useful, I would appreciate it. I'd love to learn more. Nice little bearing. Be useful for something, some point. Little PTFE tube. Beautiful carbon fiber lever. See ya. I was hoping you could link to your design. Hold on. Am I missing a part of that? I'm assuming you're not talking to me. I still need to print Zumi's box. There we go. Now I get what you were talking about. Zoomy. Classic scenario. Alright. Stepper, motor, out of here. Always shocking to know how much these things weigh. Like, lovely little paperweight. Alright, let's take this off too. Wow, that looks like a tiny, tiny, tiny little Allen key here. What size is that even? S2? I don't know what that is. I'm not sure if they're serious or being a bunch of perps. Probably both, let's be real. But it sounds like they're serious. Alright, another limit switch. Gotta admire this print. This was printed on a Voxelab Aquila. And this is carbon fiber nylon. I love it. The only mods that were done were a nozzle and a different PTFE tube. It wasn't fast, but it definitely worked. A couple more bolts here and there. Here's another really cool carbon fiber nylon print. So much detail. And it legit feels almost like a production piece. It has a nice like actual feel in the hand to it. Good design. Isn't like this. This is my design. This was. Look at the back there, where you put the hot end into. Where's that thing? Nice. How are we doing it? Yep, like that. Bam. Just slaps right in there. Like a glove. Should I keep this for memorabilia's sake? Also, there's a bunch of interesting like design decisions that I had to make here. Like the spring perch is a part of the design. As you can see here, how this little clamshell works. Pretty interesting. Also, it may not be interesting because it's mine, so I don't even know why I'm saying that. It sounds like a weird, weird thing to do. Now that I think about it. Believe it or not, I'm not trying to brag. There we go. Another thing we lost. All the spacers are also printed. Oh my. This turns out to be a pretty bad idea, I think. Just so much stuff everywhere. Definitely keep it. You think? What am I going to use it for? And the shelving. So this shelf, I'm going to remove from that wall. So I'm not really going to have a place to kind of have stuff like that. Because I want to keep it clean and minimal. I haven't really fully decided on how to display anything, or even if I want to display anything. But I guess maybe I should have some sort of area where I can showcase 3D printed pieces. I don't know. You think, Zumi? I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't have a use for it. Like I don't plan on, and I keep everything, like you said, in boxes, and sometimes I just don't need it. Oh, so this stuff I can at least put away in a specific order. Like this is good. This is a nightmare. That's like another crazy thing. But the wheels here, I do have one of these. Oh, and the section with wheels is full. Cool. But bearing can go there. Spring can go in the springs. I got like, typical all the nozzles. You know, everyone should have one of these probably. Some bearings, some levers. Here, we'll put those in there. I'll use them for something. Some socks, some belts. Oh, these are the dry bearings I used on the rails previously. What are these called? Dryland by Igus. Quality stuff. Always has been. And then I have a bigger one for M3 to M5. Pretty much just from various projects, whether it's RC or printing or quads, which I do have another quad to build. I'm sure there's a few people in my Discord that'll be excited about that, but I'll probably either do something for the other channel. I do have a RC channel with that. You know, I pretty much constantly do RC related stuff. I fly drones for work, video related. So I'm always doing RC related stuff and always building things. So I'd love to move that to some direction, but it's hard to gain any traffic on a channel that's not only 3D printing, but also RC. And I don't want to lose anybody, you know, from here. I'm not trying to be greedy by making two. I just think there's crossover and also not crossover. I'm going to hold on to this, but I don't think I have a use for this. I do like it. It is a good print. But I have photos of this in detail with my DSLR. So you know what? As cool as this is, wow, look at this. Look at this design. This isn't mine. Not my design. There's like air channels that siphon the air into different directions. Whoever made this, that's amazing. Look at that. I'm going to hold on to this because this can be used on other machines and other designs. Yeah, I guess I can show you this. This was a collab between me and Mode. I never ended up finishing this, but this does go on an Aquila. It uses a V6 style hot end, and that's the part that Mode made. He made this portion that goes to an Aquila, and I made this portion. This is a sliding. How can I get my hands out of the way? This is a sliding modification so that you can put on any hot end onto a Bowden Aquila. And I tested it with like 6 different hot ends. I guess at some point I should probably put it out there for people to use. Julian, you like the RC content? If you do like the RC content, are you subbed? I'm not trying to pressure you into doing this. Are you subbed to the other channel? Like, do you think it's better organized on a specific channel? Because for now, I'm going to post in both places. And one of my buddies, Randy, does a similar thing with his. Like, he makes jewelry, but also does 3D print stuff. And he made a separate thing for 3D printing. And just like mine, I think there is a crossover. Some people in 3D printing like RC stuff, but RC stuff isn't necessarily for 3D printing stuff. It is in most ways, but not. I think it's like all of my views for the RC stuff on this channel have been so minimal, it's not worth doing. But I want to do it because it's what I like. My Aquila looks more like an Ender 3 because of all the modding I did to it. That's how they all end up technically. That's okay. It is an Ender 3. Like, that's the point of it. Good night, John. Thank you for joining in. What time we got? 11:40. Yeah, I'll do another 15-ish minutes, a little bit more, and then I'm out of here too. I did the majority of what I wanted to do. The electronics are all gone except for the screen. And you know what? Let's do the screen real quick. and then it's just hardware. And thanks for jumping in, John. Appreciate it. Didn't even know you had a second channel. Yeah, it's not a popular thing. I just thought that it'd be a better idea for me to put RC stuff separately, because I think that the people that are interested in my channel and RC will be on both, and the people that aren't interested aren't going to be bothered, which is fine. Like it's I think it's better that way. But just an idea. Whoops. Wow, that is a strong piece of PLA. Did I bend that back? Come on, man. Hey, Dr. Z. Just chatting. Doing way more chatting than actually working. But I did get a bunch done, and now I have a Raspberry Pi, a camera, a board, steppers, a hot end, an idea for more content. So definitely a success for me. You can check it out. I want to get back into RC cars again. RC cars are a lot of fun. I've gotten into FPV and some planes, and I think that's a whole different level. But RC cars are definitely a lot of fun, and they actually lend themselves to 3D printing really well. There's a lot of amazing car-related 3D print projects. 3D sets is next level. There's this one, Tuner Kits. I need to do it at some point, but he has one of the coolest Supra builds. If you're into Supras at all, new Supra. He has one of the most elaborate, most detailed model that exists. Like, that thing is insane. Tuner Kits, check that thing out. Also, 3D Sets has been just releasing all sorts of stuff. They just released like 3 new things recently. One of them is a van, like a GMC van, and it is so cool. I definitely want to build one. There's no time. There's not enough time in the day for all these projects that I would like to do. But yeah, there's a lot of RC stuff that's just cool. And the one cool thing is RC cars have been around for so long. It's inexpensive in relation to other RC hobbies. Lord Boo. 17 watching and 8 likes. 17 watching? Wow, I'm really surprised. I thought it was like 7. Can't blame him, you know. Like I said, I'm not necessarily doing this for views. I'm gonna do this anyway. I figured some of you would like to hang out and just chat while we do it, right? Like, do the stuff you like, and if other people like it too, they'll join. But yeah, it has taken me 30 minutes to take out one screw. It's your fault, right? Can I blame you? The team van, yes. It holds 16 cans of beer. Once they used that for marketing, they got me hooked. I would like to make the trailer, just because I think it'd be cool to have the yellow Toyota pull the D40 or the D90 rather, because that thing's a rig, and that one is stock, and the performance is night and day. That Defender is nuts. Everything's locked. The suspension has so much flex. The tires are super aggressive. It's actually really fun. I gotta get it out there. I gotta grab a second. I gotta get another receiver. Actually, I have a ELRS receiver I'm not using. I might take that out there with my daughter now that I have two of them. Well, I haven't let her driven it in, I guess, a little, like maybe a year and a half, 2 years, because she was too little and she ran off with my remote and just gunned it, and the thing took off. Not that it's that fast, but it was just, I took it away from her after that whole episode. So I need to revisit that. I know she likes that kind of stuff. He's not using the fancy tool. Thank you for reminding me. Why? My brain does this. I have this. It's literally perfect. And yet I constantly forget it, and I use these cheap tools that hurt my fingers. It's a disability. All right, I got another stepper off. So that's another benefit. Yeah, 60 cans of Miller Lite. Yep. Mere mortals. Yes. Fact. It is big, but it has so much power. And like I just assembled a bed for my daughter that has like drawers underneath the bed. Like it was elaborate, lots of wood, and I used this thing single charge. It was great. Like it has a lot of power. It has 3 settings on it for like the stopping system that it has. Yeah, this is great. Their smaller kit, I broke it instantly trying to do the same stuff. It doesn't cut it. This thing, really good, and the feel, like it's heavy. It's got this soft touch, almost like European interior, like an like a Eurocar dash, like an Audi dash. All right, another stepper, wire loom, down on the floor, of course. All right, how much time we got? 12 minutes or so. Should we do the power supply? Let's do the power supply. A banner to fly with the plane? That'd be... Listen, if I can get to the point where I can fly that thing with that much confidence to fly a banner, I want to be so happy. Because I can fly quads, like... I'm not saying I'm like a FPV like master pilot or something like that. No, I'm okay at best, literally okay at best. I'm still a beginner, but I can definitely pick one up and fly it like with some confidence. But a plane, there's something about the way that they move that hurts my head and confuses me instantly as soon as I start doing it. And it's just practice, really, I guess. I need more practice. All right, power supply. The last hurrah. Assuming it flies. I mean, you saw the other video, right? What a nightmare. I really thought I was going to be able to do it. Like, that was like a dream-crushing video to publish. Like, I genuinely wanted that thing to be in it. It's just a stream of me dropping and picking up bolts. That was just 2 more that I let loose into the wild. Let's see. Can I avoid hitting my head? Hey, look at that. I found them. It's really amazing. You guys are giving me the luck that I need. I usually never find the things that I drop. But here they all are. Every single one. Amazing. This power supply has a quiet fan in there. Useful. Alright, if I recall correctly, all this should be just free, except for the display. Yes, benefits. All right. Should I even get in there for now? I'm probably not. Actually, yeah, because I want this. I want this out of here. All right, let's do it. Screw number 5, 6. I've probably taken more apart in the past like 20 minutes than the entire rest of the screen. Yep. All right, let's see. All right. That's all good. That is all good. I can work with this. Loose, 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 loose. And wiggle free, baby. All right. This is all useful stuff. Into the box of death. Into the box of death. All right. Let's reassemble this real quick. Oh, I just remembered one of the most interesting problems I had with this machine. So there is a potentiometer, I believe it's called right there, little screw that allows you to control how much voltage comes out of here. So this is 24 volts, but you can actually tweak it right there with that, the output of all this. And what happened was, this is interesting, like I might even need to clip this. I had this problem where all of my prints had this like stepped pattern in it, and I spent months tracking it. There was so much misinformation online about what it could be. I literally changed everything. I changed. Oh man, it was like bringing back like bad memories. Like I changed steppers. I changed the belts. I changed. Man, I literally swapped out so many parts. And then what ended up happening was I found just someone's post that said, hey, it was like their power supply was the problem. And when I was taking it apart, I found a little potentiometer, and I ended up putting checking the voltage on how much my one of the buck converters was getting, and it was getting like 23 or something volts. Like it wasn't 24 volts, and that was the problem. After I swapped, like the majority of the printer was changed hardware wise. I changed pulleys. I changed, like I said, steppers. I changed belts. I changed wheels. Everything. Lead screws. I mean, I changed everything. And it was just that little potentiometer on the bottom of the power supply that got either tweaked, or maybe the power supply degraded. I don't know what the deal is or was, but that was the solution. It was adjusting that screw to give 24 volts output, and it fixed it. I even put the old steppers back in. That's why this machine had a mix of black and silver steppers. It's because some of them were brand new. So if that ever comes up for any reason, those of you that are still here, still rocking with your boy, will know how to solve that. Someone posed PTSD. Yeah. The pot. Yep. Pot. Always the problem. Oh, so this is how you really know we're retiring it. My sticker. Gone. All right, but I think I'm going to put this. I think I'm going to use this. I think I'm going to try to at some point make something useful out of this so I can do more testing for things. I mean, it's a power supply, right? Box of death. Okay. All right, the last few minutes will just be relaxing. My work here is done. Not even close. I've actually think I caused myself way more issues with this stuff than I solved. But yeah, it feels good in a way to finally retire this machine. I guess the screen is still on there, but it has served me very well, and I learned so much. And I think it'll still continue to be useful as I find new uses for its hardware. Oh, I wanted to show you the bottom, right? Last peek here. Can you guys see how the wheels work? So the design idea there was these things are on sliders. So if I undo hardware, the wheels can slide, and that's how you keep tension on them. Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is experimental, but like I said, it worked really well. And I tried to like incorporate my logos into all the pieces that I designed. You can buy a $180 machine that'll print on the same level as this thing. So, hey, everyone that's in here right now, since I'm not on the YouTube side, I can't tell how many people, but thank you. Thank you guys for joining me. I had a lot of fun. Like I said, I didn't really do this for views or anything like that. I just thought that I'm already doing it, and I figured some of you might be bored and would want to hang out and talk 3D printing and random things. So I appreciate you. Thank you for joining, and yeah, hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And to him, everyone. Nice. Glad you guys are enjoying these lives. I'm legit enjoying doing them. They've added a whole another little layer to this whole YouTube thing, whatever it is. Still doing it as just a pure hobby and out of fun, and it's great. It's been fun. All right, everybody. As always, I'll see you guys in the comments. If you're not a part of the Discord, why? Join the Discord channel. So much fun in there. Lots of resources. All kinds of links to everything. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Have a great night. Later.